Hello and welcome to Movies for Dumb Guys. I'm Joe Johnson, your host, and I'm joined by Ryan Sharp,
Because I got a golden ticket.
Tim Williams,
Give me back my hand.
and Richie Rollins.
Ryan stole mine.
Did I really?
Yes.
That tells you that it sucked. Like I need to redo mine then. I'm sorry, Rich.
How do you know it's not on my
You
worst
guys
side?
need to consult ahead of time. All right. Welcome to Movies for Dumb Guys. Our theme today is remakes. I have this feeling of deja vu, like we've done this before. So that's going to be our theme: remakes, reboots, that sort of thing. I guess the definition of remake is pretty broad. We were sort of discussing it before the show that remake can be a line by line, scene by scene remake of a movie, or it can be inspired by an earlier movie, or it might just feature the same characters. That might fall into the reboot category. Ryan, what are your thoughts? How would you define a remake versus reboot?
Where it's based off of the original story of the original movie, I guess. So, there's a lot of liberties I think that you can take with that, an adaptation from a previous movie.
The funny thing is people today, when they go to the theater, they go, Hollywood doesn't have any original ideas anymore. All they do is remakes and reboots. But you can go back to the beginning of film, and they've been remaking and rebooting movies since the beginning. Tim, your thoughts on what defines a remake?
I don't know. I mean, there's a pretty fine line there, I would say. It's I don't know. A reboot to me is more of like when they're trying to start up a whole new franchise with different actors and everything.
Right. Same
Ma-
characters,
mainly-
different actors.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if they're like just trying to create like a whole new universe where they're planning on making more than one movie, a remake would just be a straight up, they just plan on doing one movie and get in and out.
Rich, what criteria did you look for when you were putting your list together?
I kind of agree with Tim on that. Remake I felt like was just a one movie shot remake, but a reboot I thought was like when you have multiple movies and you're rebooting that universe with different actors and you might try a little bit of different story.
Mm-hmm.
But the remake I always felt was a not quite shot for shot, line for line, but pretty darn close.
Now, I can say as a rule, I'm not a big fan of remakes, especially movies from my childhood, from my youth that they're remaking today.
Is it because it makes you feel old that they're
That's
already remaking?
part of it, but the movie still seems fresh in my brain, and I'm like, why are you remaking this? And so I tend to boycott most remakes, especially of movies that came out when I was younger, like RoboCop and Fright Night and stuff like that. So I tend to boycott those types of movies, but I have a couple on my list we'll discuss a little bit later. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about my top 5 remakes. Then we're going to go around the table, and then we're going to talk about some of the worst remakes ever made. Number 1 on my list, in my opinion, the greatest remake ever made. I want to play a little.
Did
clip
they remake Star Wars?
Star Wars, which is a remake of Hidden Fortress. No. Not going to go there.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
The Thing, John Carpenter's classic thriller horror from the 80s, is a remake of a 1951 movie called The Thing from Another World. The original isn't awful. It just has a pretty weak monster. It's basically James Arness from Gunsmoke with really bad Frankenstein makeup on. I guess they had a vision of doing a more elaborate movie monster, and they just couldn't pull it off, so they just went with a Frankenstein type thing. But I guess in the novel that it was based on, it was a shape-shifting creature from outer space, and that's what they did in John Carpenter's remake. Here's a little clip from the trailer from the original 1951, The Thing from Outer Space.
Is it human or inhuman? Earthly or unearthly? Baffling questions, astounding questions that not even the world's greatest scientific minds can answer.
Gentlemen, do you realize what we've found? A being from another world, as different from us as one pole from the other.
So,
That's like what I say every time I look at you.
yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. So The Thing, in my opinion, the greatest remake ever made. I absolutely loved The Thing. One of the greatest performances by Kurt Russell. Great cast, great acting, amazing special effects. You got to keep in mind, this is before CGI days. The effects were mind-blowing when they're trying to do the paddles, the electric paddles on the guy, and his chest caves in, and then the head comes down and sprouts spider legs. And the one guy's like, "You got to be bleeping kidding me." Love this movie. Absolutely love this movie. Ryan, your thoughts on John Carpenter's The Thing?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen The Thing.
Never seen it.
You are invited to come over in the weeks leading up to Halloween. We'll do a little film fest.
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Tim was looking at my junk.
You're looking at his thing.
My thing.
He's manspreading. Anybody got any anybody got any bleach to pour in there?
Tim, help me out here. The Thing.
Yeah, I have The Thing as my number 2.
Nice.
Not only is this one of the greatest remakes of all time, not only is this one of the greatest horror movies of all time, but it is one of my favorite movies of all time, period. I
agree.
And just the thing, for the same reasons you said. I never actually sat down and watched the whole Thing from Another World movie, but I've seen enough of it. And like you said, I mean, what year did that come out?
51.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously they're not going to have the technology or the special effects to pull off what they did in this one. And wasn't it like didn't they make him into like a vegetable man or a carrot man? Or
Yeah, I
something
think they
in the
hinted
first
that
one?
they shot him
so-
and he wasn't wounded, and they were saying that he was like
Like a
made of
vegetable.
vegetable matter or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you there. That's my number 2. I love The Thing. As a matter of fact, I just bought they have a new Thing board game that I just bought.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Bring it
So,
over.
Yeah.
We'll play.
We'll watch The Thing. We'll make Ryan watch The Thing, and we'll make him play the board game too.
There you go.
Boy, what
You?
an exciting Sunday night that'll be.
Only if it's raining.
Rich, you may recall this. You were
Yeah,
there.
I remember.
He he got us off.
Rich, your thoughts on The Thing?
Nucks. I didn't see it.
What?
I might
For
have-
anyone watching us live on
saw
Facebook,
the
send in
email.
your application. I'm going to be looking for replacements here. All right, moving on to number 2 on my list. There is probably a good 30 plus year gap between these two movies. Here's a little clip from the original. Vincent Price in the original The Fly.
Oh, I thought that was Wizard of Oz. Like the Munchkins.
Came out in 1958. And here's a clip from the remake.
The fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone. Don't go back to it. Could be contagious.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
Help me. Please, help me.
David Cronenberg's The Fly, released in 1986, starring Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis. Like Tim said about The Thing, not only one of the greatest remakes, but one of my all-time favorite movies, one of the greatest horror movies. Such a great movie. The concept of trying to come up with a device for teleportation. A fly gets into the machine with Jeff Goldblum and just decides to merge his DNA with the flies. I remember seeing this movie in the theater. I remember the audience being shocked by some of the moments in the movie, like the arm wrestling scene, and some of the stuff that came later is Jeff Goldblum is getting transformed into the fly. Love this movie. One of the greatest remakes ever. And I'm looking at Ryan's smug little face there, and I'm almost afraid to ask him, have you seen The Fly?
I have not seen The Fly.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with fly, think.
You like
So
that,
I
McFly?
think I might have seen part of it when I was younger, and because of the age I saw it at, it didn't interest me at that particular time. It may be a great movie. I know I love Jeff Goldblum, so I might enjoy it now that I'm older, but just never kind of got into it.
We need to have a movie marathon.
Just to throw this out there, comments from our Facebook Live that I'm getting in. I got a big middle finger for not seeing The Thing. So
whoever did that, thank you.
Yeah,
got a big
thumbs up for that.
She put more than a thumb up. That's what I'm saying.
Tim, help me out here.
I have that as one of my honorable mentions, mainly because I don't think I've ever watched the first one, even though I'm a huge Vincent Price fan. But for whatever reason, I've never sat down and watched that one from beginning to end. I've seen parts of it, kind of like the original Thing from Another World. But yeah, it's same with you. I remember seeing The Fly at the theater, packed audience, and just like the reactions to some of the stuff that was going on, like when he puked on his food.
Oh my God!
I specifically remember like that, and everybody's just like, ugh. But yeah, I like that one, and honestly, I like the second one too. With
Jeff or Stoltz, Eric
yeah,
Stoltz. Yeah,
yeah,
I think I saw that one. I didn't care much for that one.
I mean, it's not as good, but it's not bad.
And let me clarify, for the purpose of this countdown here today, our list here today, you're not obligated to see the original. As long as the movie that's on your list is considered a remake, it counts. Rich, please tell me you've seen The Fly.
I've only seen the original.
You've only seen the original.
Yeah, I was forced to watch it back in middle school.
Wow.
Now, how did he become a fly in the first one?
I think it was the
was
same
it along the
similar
same
thing. It was a
thing?
teleportation thing
Bit by a
gone wrong.
radio.
Or active fly.
Bat.
Don't be stealing my lines, guys.
All right, we're flying right through this. This podcast might be a half hour long today. Number 3 on my list. Now, as I was researching lists of remakes, I didn't realize this movie was a remake. And when I saw that it was, I had to add it to my top 5. Let me play a little clip from it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a Soviet Mirv 6 from an SS-22N launch vehicle.
I married Rambo.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad. True Lies. What can I say? I'm a spy.
I think this is True Lies is one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's greatest movies. And I remember seeing this in the theater, and people loved this movie. It was a huge hit. And Tom Arnold surprised the heck out of me. He was fantastic in this movie. And Jamie Lee Curtis and Bill Paxton all had roles in this. Absolutely love True Lies. Apparently, is a remake of a French movie called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correct, La Totale. People help me out here with my French.
4 years of French will get you.
Now, the French movie came out in 1991, and True Lies came out in 1994, so there's only a 3-year gap between these two movies. But since True Lies is considered a remake, and in the original one, it's a similar premise where a guy is a spy, but his wife doesn't know. He suspects his wife is cheating on him, so he uses his spy abilities to kind of secretly monitor his wife's activities. And then it all leads into hijinks and getting caught up with a terrorist organization. So there's the similarities there. Ryan, your thoughts on True Lies? Not necessarily, I mean, as a remake, but just as a movie.
I really enjoyed the parts of the movie. I obviously there was a Jamie Lee Curtis scene that I was a big fan of.
Yeah, that was nice.
And I thought Tom Arnold was hilarious, and I agree. It was where he kind of became a legitimate, like, oh, this guy's got talent. It's not just Roseanne's husband.
Right.
He can actually do a great job and do a great job in comedy, a comedic role and not a comedy actually. So I really enjoyed it. Didn't make my list though.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to pronounce it, but we do have a French connection here. So Frenchie, Let me know how that's pronounced and
Right.
get that out for us, please.
Tim, your thoughts on True Lies?
Yeah, I remember seeing this at the theater and I liked it. I didn't realize it was a remake until you said that. I didn't really see that on anybody's list of remakes either when I was looking. But yeah, I mean, just like you said, Bill Paxton did a great job as a sleazeball, and I mean everybody in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Arnold did his own stunts when he was going down when he was skiing down the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being sarcastic. Obviously, you could tell that it didn't look anything like Arnold.
Before CGI face replacement.
Yeah, the guy was probably like 120 pounds.
Richie, your thoughts on True Lies?
Well, you know, it was a good movie. I
Oh
liked
my
watching it.
God.
There we go.
I loved,
Talk about remakes.
I love watching it in the theaters. It was a fun movie, and it was great because they filmed some of that down in Florida, and I got the bridge scene.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that contribution.
Yeah.
How
But
about?
Sean Connery's always happy to be
The
here.
hell was that?
I don't know.
I think you can save face if you do a Roger Rabbit. Right now.
What an idiot.
All right, moving on to...
Shut up, Hermione.
Moving on to number 4, mixing things up a little bit. One of my favorite Christmas movies is a Jimmy Stewart movie called The Shop Around the Corner. And that came out in 1940. And it was loosely remade as the Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan rom-com You've Got Mail in 1998. Now, there's a lot of differences between the two movies, but there are some line for line, scene for scene, beat to beat similarities. Now, I'm going to play a little comparison of a scene from the original followed by the remake, which actually starred a young Dave Chappelle in the friend role of Tom Hanks. You'll hear him in the second part of this clip.
Can you see her?
Yes,
Is she pretty?
very pretty.
She is, huh?
I would say she has a little of the coloring of Clara.
Clara? Well, you mean Miss Novak of the shop?
Oh, Martin, you must admit that Clara is a good-looking girl, and personally, I've always found her a very likable girl.
Well, this is a fine time to be talking about Miss Novak.
Well, if you don't like Miss Novak, I can tell you right now you won't like this girl.
Why?
Because it is Miss Novak.
So that was the original. Here's
You
the
know
remake.
what? She look. I mean, she almost has the same coloring as that Kathleen Kelly person.
Kathleen Kelly of the Little Bookstore.
Well, why not? You said you thought she was attractive.
Absolutely, yes. Why not? Who cares about Kathleen Kelly?
Well, if you don't like Kathleen Kelly, I can tell you right now, you ain't gonna like this girl.
Why not?
Because it is Kathleen Kelly.
So the names are different, but as you can see, even Dave Chappelle, like he starts a line and then stops and then continues. It's exactly the same as the original movie. And so then when Tom Hanks goes into the restaurant and meets up with Meg Ryan's character, not knowing that he's the anonymous love interest, that whole scene is almost beat for beat, line for line, similar to the original. I don't even know if I should throw this out to you guys. Any thoughts on You've Got Mail?
No.
Tim?
Never seen it.
Richie?
Never saw it.
Wow.
Liked
man.
it when it was called Sleepless in Seattle.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
All right, let's move on to my fifth and final favorite remake.
Why are all these women telling us we're stupid?
Don't ask them. I don't know. Me Too movement. Fifth and final movie on my top 5 list of favorite remakes. True Grit, 2010 remake starring Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, and Haley Steinfeld. Remake of the original True Grit that came out in 1969, which won an Oscar for John Wayne. Also starring Kim Darby and a terrible, terrible Glenn Campbell, who Matt Damon plays that role in the remake. Glenn Campbell almost ruined the original True Grit. The first one is a classic. Like I said, it won John Wayne an Oscar. Probably the Oscar was clinched on this particular moment.
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which'll it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch.
Love that scene. He puts his reins in his teeth. He's got a shotgun in each hand, and he rides at 3 or 4 guys, taking them out. And, such a classic moment. But I really love the remake. I thought Haley Steinfeld deserved an Academy Award. I think she was nominated for an Academy Award. I thought she should have won it. She did an amazing job with that particular role. Ryan, any thoughts on the True Grit remake?
I meant to watch it, but I never did.
Okay. Tim?
I think I rented it, but I was doing other stuff, so I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it and felt no need to rewatch it. And I never did see the original.
Richie, help me out here.
It's hard to concentrate with it.
Whatever you said, I farted on Facebook Live, and I didn't even do that.
Anyways, I'll tell you what, Johnson.
Stop whining.
Yeah, stop whining. Okay, Johnson.
Yes?
All I got to say about this is both movies are damn fantastic.
I agree.
I love both of them. They were great. And when you get a sequel off of a great movie, remake off a great movie, you're a little nervous about it, but man, did they pull it off.
Thank you. I think the first time you guys agreed with me. Oh, Tim, you agreed with me on some of them. All right. Let's see what you guys got. Ryan, bring it.
You guys got. All right. So, I don't know that I have an order for these, but I'm going to give you my top 5. And the first one I'm going to go with is Les Mis.
Oh, interesting. I thought about putting that on my list, but I didn't because I thought you'd make fun of me.
You did just because I make fun of you. That's awesome. Look at my influence.
Ryan. Go ahead, dude.
Thanks. But I'm not only talking about the 2012 version.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also talking about the 98 version.
Was that Liam Neeson?
Yes.
Liam Neeson. Look at you.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's in my shit.
Because that was a great remake in itself.
Of a movie that came out.
Of a different Les Mis prior to. And then 2012 version was another great remake of the same story.
Now, the Liam Neeson one wasn't a musical, right? That had no music in it at all.
It was not a musical. It was definitely more about the actual storyline. So, but I thought it was great, and I went and I didn't go. I actually rented and watched that 98 version before I went and saw the Broadway play, which was phenomenal, and it helped you get a better understanding had you never seen the play before. So, big Les Mis fan in general. Thought the 98 version was great. Great version with the 2012 version as well.
Look at you.
Look at me.
You want to hug it out? No, not really. Let's hug it out, bitch.
Tim, your thoughts on Les Mis?
I remember seeing people in high school wearing the T-shirts, and those were cool.
Wow. Richie.
I've never seen any of them.
Well, I tell you what, Ryan. I 100% agree with you. Les Mis is actually my number 3.
Look at, oh my God. You guys are shocking me here. I'm impressed.
Joe likes the shocker.
All right.
Oh,
that's cool. All right. I'm excited now. All right. What else you got? Keep it coming.
I'm gonna take you from your ultimate high.
Bring it down, Ryan.
I'm gonna bring you way down, Johnson.
Don't do it, man.
Uh-oh.
I really enjoyed the Ocean's 11 remake.
Okay. I'll allow it.
I know you are a fan of the original.
Love the original. Like the remake.
Love the original.
See, for me, I love the remake. So, and some of these maybe is because, maybe ones that aren't on my list, but, I saw the remake first, so that might play a factor. The first one you see is the one you like better generally sometimes. So, maybe that's why. But I thought the whole remake of it was great. I thought the cast was great. I thought the story was great. And I even liked the sequels that they did up till this Ocean's 8 one.
Yeah, the first one has the cool factor that it has the Rat Pack in it. And from what I've read, these guys were all friends, just having fun. They would do one take and go, that's it, let's move on. And it's like, the director's like, all right. So it has that cool Rat Pack factor. But I do remember seeing the remake in the theater and really liking it a lot. And I like how they changed the ending up a little bit because I was hoping they can't do the exact same ending, right? And so they changed up the ending and everything. So I enjoyed that about it. As for the sequels, not a big fan of the sequels, but no, I think the remake was really well done. Tim, your thoughts on Ocean's 11?
I remember seeing the posters at the theaters, and I thought those were really cool.
They didn't have T-shirts?
Not that I've seen.
Richie,
I've never seen any of them.
Ocean's 11.
I don't know what Ryan ate today, but he's on fire. Another good choice.
I had a burrito actually. My mom made some burritos.
Well,
and-
I knew that part because you could smell it.
No, I haven't. You know, I'm gonna fart just to, and you guys, I'm block the door. You guys are gonna be getting out. So if you want to actually happen, keep it up, Rich.
Stop whining.
All right, you're on a roll. What else you got?
All right, my next one. I was actually blown away by this movie. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, and that is the 2016 remake of The Jungle Book.
Okay. I didn't see that one.
You missed out.
I didn't even see the original, believe it or not.
What?
I've never seen any Jungle Book movie per se.
What? The Jungle Book's one
Bare
of the best
Necessities,
Disney movies ever.
Baloo.
I know the songs and stuff. This is going to shock people.
Who is
I don't know if
Johnson?
I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but Disney movies were not a big part of my childhood. I know it's shocking to say.
I
Didn't
figured-
grow up with Disney movies until
But you
Beauty
were,
and the Beast
you
came
know,
out.
you talked all this smack about like, it was an event and blah blah blah. So I
Uh-huh.
figured you would actually like go back and revisit the
Because it was an
blockbusters
event.
that were. I don't care about that one. This one is phenomenal. You should definitely check this out. The kid in this did just a phenomenal job. Like he made the movie for me. You know, all the other stuff, and there's parts I didn't like.
Now,
but
Bill Murray did the bear, right?
yes.
That almost made me pay
Well,
$10
it
to
should
go
have.
see it.
Shame on you for turning your back on one Mr. Murray.
That could have been the weak part.
I thought he did good. I didn't like the king. I didn't like that part, but that was Christopher Walken.
They made him humongous.
Yeah, they did. So I didn't like that, but great cast, great, and this kid's acting just off the chart for me. I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, Tim.
I did see this at the theater. I thought it was okay. There's a different one that I have that ranked higher than that I will get to on mine. A different Disney remake that I was kind of comparing it to. Not that it's bad, but I didn't like it as much as I had hoped because the Jungle. Well, I mean, part of it is the Jungle Book cartoon is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, and you know, I didn't really have a problem with Christopher Walken as King Louis, but they just made him huge. They made him like a King Kong-y type guy.
Yeah, that was my least favorite part.
Yeah, but you should check it out.
I will.
The original.
Okay. Rich, is Ryan on a hot streak?
Ryan, did you get in a car accident this week? Bump your head?
Why would you say that?
Because you're on fire.
Hey, don't put that on me.
It's not a tumor.
You're on fire today. That's another good pick.
Why can't I just be having a good day? Why do I have to be like in an accident or?
Usually when you bring up movies, we get this.
Yeah, from all the lame people in this room, but the vast majority of the public love my offerings.
the public
as
that's
the
in your
rad fan clubs demonstrate.
I'm gonna get the rad fan club.
the public
in here,
that's
and
in
they're
his
gonna-
head.
They're gonna BMX all over your face.
I'm sitting here telling you what a great choice you
I'm
made.
talking
You're
to
yelling
Johnson
at
right
me.
now. I'm mad at you for making me get in a car accident to make a good decision.
Johnson, you should see both of these movies.
All right.
They got Mowgli coming out.
Oh, yeah. All right, Ryan, how many was that? 3?
That's 3. So my next one is a movie that I didn't see in theaters because I was working at the theater when it came out, and at the very end of this movie, the theater broke down, and so the whole
entire theater broke down.
Well, the movie broke down in the theater it was showing. So all the people in the theater came out really pissed off, and they told me the end. Because they were like, it was right when this happened and that happened, and then we want to know what happens. And then so I apologize. I get the film going again, and the only thing that starts running is the credits. So it's just the way the film ended, and that is The Departed.
Okay.
So it was kind of ruined for me a little bit. They're like, yeah, this guy and this guy get shot, and I was like, oh man. So
Okay.
I waited a while, but then I saw it, and I was just like, wow. What an amazing film. What a great cast. And what a great story.
Do you have any background on the movie that it is remade of? If that's
Yeah, the
grammatically correct?
original is Internal Affairs.
And that came out when?
Before Departed.
I don't know. So.
Was that a foreign movie, or was it
not internal?
Wasn't it? I think it was. Wasn't it?
Was that
For
Japanese?
some reason, I was
still?
thinking
Yeah.
it was. For some reason, I was thinking The Departed was a remake of a foreign movie. I could be wrong.
You're right. I'm gonna look it up for you right now.
Now, while you're
Unless
looking
I'm
it
thinking
up,
of something else.
I saw The Departed. I know it won Best Picture. I didn't see it in theaters when it came out. I eventually saw it on video or cable or something later. I liked it, but I didn't think it ranked among Scorsese's best works. I didn't think it compared to like Goodfellas or anything like that. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay, but not it. I think it was a weak year for Oscar movies for it to win Best Picture. Tim, your thoughts?
I misspoke. It's Infernal Affairs.
Infernal Affairs. Okay. And was that a Japanese flick or?
I'm trying to pull it up here.
I have this as honorable mention. I agree with you.
Mhm.
I was kind of surprised that it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2002 Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was a Hong Kong movie. Okay.
But yeah, a good movie and everything. Obviously, great actors. But
Yeah.
But I just have it as a honorable mention.
Okay. Rich?
Well, I got to say this. We need to get Ryan tested for performance-enhancing drugs because the man is on fire tonight. I have never seen
Thank
him.
you.
I have never seen him sparkle this way.
Fuck, some drugs. That's good. Thank you. I'm a banned from baseball for life now. I appreciate that. Much
Yeah.
better than getting injured.
I'm sorry, but you're not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Stop whining.
All right.
Man.
So that was what, number 4?
Number 4.
And your 5th?
My 5th one. This is gonna be a toughie. All these movies on my list, most of them anyways, are really good movies. There's probably one or two you guys are like, eh. But I think for my number 5, I'm going to go with The Nutty Professor.
Okay. So a remake of, what was it called? The Absent-Minded Professor, right?
Right. No.
Oh, no.
It was The Nutty Professor.
I'm getting flubber. Oh, okay. So Nutty Professor was a remake of the Jerry Lewis movie.
Correct.
This remake stars
Eddie Murphy.
All right.
Hercules.
That was probably the best part. All right.
I thought it was it's a stupid movie. But I thought it was hilarious. And there's your Dave Chappelle come around again. He was in it too.
That's when they did the like Yo Mama jokes or something.
Yeah.
Was that was great, man. That was awesome.
And then he went up there. Reggie was his name, and he went up there and threw him in the piano and made him sing and squeal. It was great. Great scene. So a lot of great funny parts in this movie. I thought the movie was very entertaining. The Clumps definitely stole America's heart.
They got their own movie,
absolutely,
which I had never seen. I never saw The Clumps. Was that worth seeing?
No.
All right, I didn't think so. But yeah, Nutty Professor, good remake.
Was that also the same one where the family was sitting around passing gas, like like you did? Or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean my colon right now. You guys keep tempting me. Today's not a good day. Today is not a good day.
But yeah, I thought that was a decent movie. I liked the remake of that. I'm sure I saw the original. I don't necessarily remember it, but
yeah, I think I may have seen it once. And it's Jerry Lewis doing this Jerry Lewis thing, which is hard to take over 90 plus minutes.
Yeah. For as stupid maybe as it was, it actually had some heart to it though.
Mm-hmm.
The remake.
The remake did, yeah.
Yeah, definitely did.
Janet Jackson was the love interest, right?
No, that was part 2.
Okay.
It was
the love interest?
It was
Putting you on the spot
Jada.
here. Jada Pinkett?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Rich, your thoughts on the Nutty Professor remake?
Couldn't think for a second. Sorry.
Well, I tell you what,
getting
Johnson,
distracted.
There comes a time in a baseball player's career when he's pitching a perfect game. 3-2 count. One strike away.
Jim Joyce umpiring?
No Jim Joyce. Gives up a clean hit. Not only a clean hit, a game-winning home run. Ryan, you're so close for 5 for 5 today. That movie was not good.
I value your opinion as much as the gum on the bottom of my shoe.
I must really love that gum.
I mean, let's face it. The first one was not Citizen Kane either.
Right.
So I mean,
he was on fire.
All right.
Someone just hosed him down.
Let's move it around the table. Tim, what do you got that has kind of recap the ones that you've agreed with so far, and then give us your first new one?
The only one that I had with you was the thing I had at number 2.
All right.
So my number 1 is the reboot of the Planet of the Apes franchise that was out the last few years.
Not the Marky Mark version.
No, the Marky Mark version I have is my number one worst remake of all time. But I will get to that later.
So you're talking about the recent trilogy,
Yes,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you, and I don't understand why this trilogy isn't in more conversations as great movies from the last decade or so. I think the entire trilogy is.
I mean, it made decent money, but I don't think it made like huge money. I don't think a lot of people.
The effects are great. Now, interestingly, when you watch those movies, in a way, they're kind of a prequel to what we see with Charlton Heston, because all those events kind of set up the events. So it does fall under more of the category of reboot than remake, but I think it fits nicely into that whole universe.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And I think I saw every one of them at the theater, and the last one I saw in IMAX, and it was just amazing.
You maniac! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Follow that, Richie.
I have not seen the reboot remake versions.
You never saw any of them?
Did you see the Tim Burton version?
Never felt like watching them. Never interested me.
Interesting. Ryan?
Nope.
Wow.
But can I see your list so I can see how that French thing was?
Okay, my number 3 is a remake of somebody else's own movie, and it is Evil Dead Part 2, which is essentially a remake of Evil Dead 1 that Sam Raimi did with Bruce Campbell, but he made it more comedic. And
same story,
in my
same
opinion, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much same characters and everything, but made it more comedic, made it more over the top, made it less straight up horror.
Did you feel it was necessary? Okay, so Evil Dead comes out as kind of a cult classic. You know, I didn't like it, but did you feel that it was necessary for them to do more of a high budget remake of Evil Dead?
Not really, but I think that because so many horror movies, similar horror movies, were coming out, like Evil Dead. I mean, I don't even know why they decided to do that. The only thing I can think of is that they thought that doing it this way would set it apart from those other movies.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, you ever see Evil Dead?
I did, but it was so long ago. I don't really have any recollection of it, to be honest. So,
Richie,
not enough to comment.
I never seen any of the Evil Dead.
I think I may have said this before. I'm
You guys never
embarrassed.
saw Army of Darkness? No,
never saw Army of Darkness.
It's obvious that Tim and I don't go watch movies together.
But I was saying, I'm embarrassed because these are local guys. These are guys who grew up here in this area. Sam
I know.
Raimi and Bruce Campbell.
I met Bruce Campbell.
And
I know.
I feel like I need to give them props, but I did try watching.
I did meet Bruce Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Man. Loved him in Xena.
I tried watching Evil Dead, and I just offended by it. I didn't like it. But
Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are two totally different movies.
Yeah, but it's a remake, though, right? So you're saying
it's a
forget
remake, but
Evil
they're
Dead,
just-
watch Evil Dead 2, or watch Army of Darkness? Or...
Well, you already said that you don't like Evil Dead. So,
Right.
yeah. But, no, if I'm going to make you watch one of them, I'm probably going to skip over Evil Dead 2 and just make you watch Army of Darkness. Honestly, and that's really not a horror movie. It's more of like a medieval action-type movie with horrific elements in it.
Okay.
But anyway.
All right. What else you got?
So my number 4 is, and this is what I was kind of comparing to Ryan's The Jungle Book. I just went into this movie kind of like on a whim, and I loved this movie. It reminded me of being a kid and watching a movie similar to this, and it is the remake of Pete's Dragon.
Oh wow!
That came out last year, right?
Was it last year?
Last year, or 2 years ago, but I think it was on my best of last year.
It was
I believe.
Within the last year or two, yeah.
It kind of came and went, didn't it? Like I don't. I
Yeah,
remember
I don't
them
think it made
promoting
it,
but I
made
don't.
decent money.
Yeah.
But it's not. And it's definitely not like the original. But I remember seeing the original as a kid and even thinking that was kind of chintzy. Like I wasn't like a huge fan of the original.
I mean, it was
even as a kid.
It was kind
This
of a novelty because they mixed live action and animation, right? And I remember
they did. The story was different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it reminded me of a movie that they would have done, when I was a kid, more of like a live action movie involving, the lovable dragon.
All right. Actually, Pete's Dragon, I remember seeing in the theater when I was a kid. That might be one of the only Disney movies I saw as a kid in the theater. But
So you lied to us.
But that's not considered like a Disney classic, is it? But
I don't think so. I mean, it's it's a Disney movie, and I remember a lot of people had seen it at the time because, well, at least in my experiences, when a Disney movie came out, we would all go see it.
Right. Ryan, did you see the remake?
I saw the remake, and I completely disagree with Tim. It's actually on my worst remake side.
Interesting.
I was a huge fan growing up of the original. I watched it all the time. I've shown Ethan, him and his friends. Actually, we had a little outdoor movie night, and they loved it. The songs, Mickey Rooney, they just did a great job. It was, obviously a different take with the advancements in CGI and things like that and how they did it. I was not a fan of how they did it. I didn't like how they made it. I didn't like it at all.
It didn't get good reviews, did it?
Do not ever want to see it again.
Yeah, it did. Look it up on the tomato meter.
All right.
I don't have my phone.
Rich, your thoughts on Pete's Dragon?
I saw the original, but I did not see this because it was in and out of theaters, and I know I want to see it because that was probably one, if not my most favorite Disney movie of all time.
Really, the original Pete's Dragon?
I just loved it growing up.
Really
interesting.
All right.
What's next on your list?
My number 5 is actually a tie, just because I couldn't come up with. I don't know which one of these I like better. The remake that I mentioned last time of Night of the Living Dead, 1990. It's definitely go check it out. Anybody that was a fan of the original Night of the Living Dead, definitely a different take. Like I said, they make Barbara the hero in this, not the whiny comatose chick that's freaking out through the whole movie. And it is tied with the 2010 Piranha remake.
Oh yeah, and I know you've praised the Piranha remake many times.
Yes, I love that movie, and it is what the Meg should have been.
Now, interestingly, since you brought these movies up, as I was researching remakes, I discovered that horror movies seem to be the most popular genre for remakes. That's a good percentage of the list was made up of horror movies.
That's what I was going to say, and I was going to mention that. And I've probably seen more horror movie remakes than any other. And a lot of times it's like, okay, well, I could see them being able to improve on that movie, but a lot of times they don't. More often than not, they don't.
I agree. Yeah,
and I don't know
why
that it seems like it would be
succeeds.
Easy to look at these, like an old horror movie and be like, oh, we can improve here, improve here, improve here.
Yeah.
But like I said, most of the time, that's not the case.
You guys want to chime in on either of those movies?
No.
I can't.
Rich, let's get to your list.
All right.
What's on your list that we have not discussed yet?
Well, my friend, we didn't talk about number 1 yet. And that is Scarface, 1983 version.
Say hello to my little friend.
Awesome movie. Loved the movie. The action, I don't know. Almost made me want to become a drug dealer at one point. It was so cool.
Wow, was that influential?
Pacino's that good of an actor. So.
Can you educate us on the original version of that movie? Who was in the original? Was Edward G. Robinson or
Howard Hughes and Howard Hawks actually
produced
it, and it was, I think it was Paul Mooney.
Huh. Okay.
Played Al Capone in that one.
Okay. So the original was about Al Capone. This one's more about Colombian drug dealing. So.
It was a spin-off, loosely based off Al Capone.
Okay.
And St. Valentine's murder and stuff.
Now, the last time I watched the remake, the Al Pacino remake, as much as I enjoyed it, it comes across as a comedy today. Al Pacino is so over the top. I found myself laughing in this movie more than anything else. Have you seen the Scarface remake?
Of course I have. I have a penis.
Did you find it as funny as I
It's a
did?
total Jew movie. Every guy has to see it. And if you haven't, your man card is in jeopardy.
Did you find comedic elements? Did you find it humorous?
No.
Really?
Maybe if I watched it now, but I watched it, years ago.
Yeah.
So, so maybe it just hasn't held up over time or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's a good movie. I'm not knocking it. It's entertaining as heck.
Actually, when
but-
I watched it, I guess I wasn't ready for it. Like the shower scene where they hacked that dude up. Like
that was right in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I was
wasn't
like,
it?
holy wow! All right, and this is how we go.
And we're off.
And of course, you played the clip. Say hello to my little friend. As well as many other very quotable moments in this movie that have gone through, the history of generations.
Here's one of my favorite lines from the movie.
This country, you got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
All right, write that down. Tim,
One
your
of my
thoughts on
favorite
Scarface?
wrestlers was Razor Ramon, who totally got that character from this movie.
So he played Al Pacino Scarface in the ring?
He's trying to.
No, he just.
Say hello to my little pin.
Well, at first, but no, he did.
First, you get the pile drive.
He did take that. No, he did. The
Okay,
way that he
Nacho.
talked and everything. I saw this movie, I'm sure, on cable when it was on, but I don't remember anything. I remember.
I did not watch it on cable. Or cable.
How would
like
I have seen
the
it? I wouldn't have
paid
been able to
cable,
see
yeah.
it in 1983 at the
You
theater.
couldn't watch it censored, man. That would just
That's
ruin
what I'm
the whole
saying.
thing. Yeah.
Like,
No. I saw it on HBO. I'm
Right,
sure.
right.
Oh,
Probably
okay,
when I was a kid.
I
But
was thinking
just,
like
but I
Spike
don't-
TV or something. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no.
"Oh."
Scumbum.
No. You nerd. No, but
Her stomach is polluted.
yeah, but I know I saw it, but I don't. I remember like the performance and stuff of Pacino, but I just don't remember a whole lot about it.
All right. Go on, Rich. What else you got?
Walking Tall with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Never saw it.
Wow.
Ryan?
This is on your worst list?
No.
Oh.
That not one of Dwayne's most memorable films.
It's
but,
not, but the original was way better.
I disagree with you there. I like Dwayne's version better.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because he's a rock slappy with his jabroni
It
talk.
was one of his first movies too, that he had to hold on his own.
It was one of his first.
I believe I have seen both of these. You guys know my
Really?
feelings on The Rock.
Yeah. I thought you would avoid it
and
just for
normally-
that reason.
Well, somebody,
Pebble?
I think somebody was watching it at work when I was working on midnights,
Ah.
and I didn't hate it.
There you go.
I'll just say that.
Didn't hate it.
Alrighty. Well, my number 4 is Beauty and the Beast.
The live
I
action.
like the
remake.
live action version. I thought they did a fantastic job. The songs were nailed pretty good, and I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed the cartoon.
I prefer the cartoon. I saw the remake in the theater. I thought Emma Watson did a fine job. She was really likable in the role. Didn't care much for the Beast, and I didn't like the new songs that they added. I thought they could have left the new songs out. So I thought it was okay. I could see why the kids flocked to the theater to see it, and I can understand why it made so much money. I think it might have been the highest grossing movie of the year. But I just thought it was okay. Ryan, your thoughts on the Beauty and the Beast remake?
For the same reason that I saw Scarface, I didn't see the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah?
Not interested at all.
Wow. Okay.
I agree with Ryan. I have a penis as well, so I did not.
It's small and mighty.
So
Well,
I did not
in my
go-
defense, I went with Ryan's kids.
Oh, you took his kids to see the
Well,
movie.
I
All right.
met his ex-wife and his kids.
Okay. Interesting.
How do you all
Lucky.
feel about Disney remaking every single cartoon animated
Why
movie that
not?
they've ever done?
Well,
Why
now
not?
they just announced that they're doing Lilo and Stitch next, and I love Lilo and Stitch. But
Oh,
I don't.
phew.
But I have not seen any of these.
Let's see
Well,
what-
I saw Pete's Dragon and
Let's see what they can do.
Jungle Book.
I
but
think
don't know.
their logic behind it is, by comparison, today's kids, if they go to watch a traditionally animated film, it just looks so archaic now. I mean, even when I sit down
That's true.
to watch the original Beauty and
Yeah.
the Beast animated version, I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
might not be holding up. They had some computerized elements, but I could almost
Yeah.
see Disney saying, okay, look, for today's audience, it's so sophisticated and they're into
Yeah.
technology and everything. We need to redo these for today's audience, which it's fine. I'll allow it.
Are they going to do a live action
that
version
drop.
of Toy Story as well?
Let's hope not.
That's what
They
I
are
was-
doing
I
a
was
Toy
thinking
Story
that.
4,
That'd be
but let's.
It's going to be live action. That'd be awesome.
All right.
I wonder who's going to
Um,
play Woody.
Of course, you guys already knew my number 3, but number 5 was a toss-up. It was a tie between Tomb Raider and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
I love the reboot of Tomb Raider. I thought they went in the right direction, and it's kind of funny because they did a reboot of a video game. And then Charlie and Chocolate Factory, I thought it. I went in there because I was a big Willy Wonka fan, and I liked the changes they made because I don't think they could have done it verbatim, and I
Yeah.
think they made the right choices. And I think
Well, sometimes when they do a remake, they try to base it on the source material
Yes,
instead of the
and that's what I
movie. So
felt
there were
like.
scenes in the remake that appeared in the book that
Right.
wasn't in the
and
Gene
I thought
Wilder version.
I thought Johnny Depp did well as playing Charlie very dark.
Now, I saw the Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie in it.
Hated it.
Never saw anything that came after that. And then when Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out,
Hated it.
just despise. I thought Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp normally. I thought he was awful in this. I hated the decisions that he made trying to emulate Michael Jackson in this thing. Absolutely hated that movie. Ryan, your thoughts?
I expect nothing less out of Rich than these two picks. Just ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here, really? Like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the remake?
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd. This is like one of the worst movies ever. It's on my worst remakes list. The original was a billion times better.
I agree.
What happened to
I
this
was
guy?
just walking around work after talking to people and on the phone, and I was walking around singing, I Want It Now.
Songs
yeah,
are great.
It was great.
Gene Wilder's performance was great.
Unmatched by
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. And I'm a big Johnny Depp fan.
Yeah.
Totally failed on
Awful.
this one.
Yeah, that's where he started sort of getting a reputation for being too over the top with his characters. This one was poor choice.
Garbage.
All right.
Garbage.
Does that take care of your top 5?
That
Rich?
takes care of my top 5.
Thank God.
All right. Now I want to educate our listeners here for a second, because as I was looking at the list of remakes, a movie came up that surprised me, and I'm like, that's not a remake. But a moment ago, before we started recording this podcast, we went on YouTube, and there's a clip on there that compared this movie to its original movie. The movie I'm speaking about is Airplane, the classic comedy from 1980, 1981, something like that. And apparently, the movie is a remake of a movie called 0 Hour. And I'm thinking, okay, come on. How can this laugh out loud comedy be a remake of 0 Hour? Well, here's a little example of a couple of scenes that I got off this YouTube clip played side by side.
Joey, here's something we give our special visitors. Would you like to have it?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You ever been in the cockpit before?
No, sir. I've never been up in a plane before.
Now, that's from the original.
Swell.
Joey, we have something here for our special visitors.
Here's the
Would you
remake.
like to have it?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sure. You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir. I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
I just want to tell you both good luck. I'll keep your son with me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doctor.
Right.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
So that shocked me that those lines are so similar. Now I feel like now I need to go back and watch 0 Hour and laugh my ass off. But yeah, so believe it or not, folks, Airplane is a remake of 0 Hour. I'm going to throw out a couple of my honorable mentions real quick. Let Me In, 2010 remake starring Chloe Moretz Grace, I think is her name, or maybe I got it backwards. Remake of Let the Right One In 2008. Now, I haven't seen the original, but I absolutely loved Let Me In. Death Race, 2008 Jason Statham movie, remake of the 1975 Sylvester Stallone Death Race 2000. That movie's pretty awesome.
I'll just say
awful.
the originals of both of those are highly superior.
Of those two movies, okay.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds 2000, Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie, a remake of Gone in 60 Seconds 1974. The original has the quality of a low-budget porn with a great car chase. The sequel is far superior. Italian Job, 2003, remake of 1969 Italian Job. King Kong, 2005, superior, or I don't know, I'd say a superior remake of the original King Kong, but I really enjoyed the Peter Jackson remake. Is my time up?
Sorry, no, I was trying to wake Rich up.
Oh man, thanks, Ryan.
And I also just wanted to throw out The Mask of Zorro, 1998, starring Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones. I don't know if it's necessarily a remake per se, but more of a reboot of the Zorro character, and it's surprisingly good. Ryan, we got about 5 minutes left.
All right.
You got any honorable mentions?
I do. I'm going to throw some stuff out real quick. Going back to the French movie for True Lies.
Yeah.
It's pronounced La Totale.
La Totale. Okay. The E is silent.
There you go.
All right.
said
So
that.
thank you for that.
Thank you, Jessica,
French
for that.
lesson.
Rewind, listen. I said that.
Okay. So real quick, Cape Fear, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I also had Mask of Zorro, Money Pit, Tom Hanks, The Toy with Richard Pryor.
Now, what was
That
the
was a
toy?
remake?
What
Of
was
what?
the toy a remake of?
I don't know. I just was on a list, and I was like, I love that movie.
All right.
Good research, my friend.
Now, some people find the toy offensive now because it's a rich,
Whatever. Somebody's
white
offended
kid
by everything
buying
now.
an African
Yeah,
American.
but that was the
Right.
whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
even back then, I think it was that part of it was still supposed to be
controversial.
Yeah, I mean, they
Yeah.
say it in there, like,
Yeah.
trying to buy a black man. Like,
Yeah.
like Richard Pryor actually says it. So,
right.
We're running out of time. You got any other honorable mentions?
Ransom with Mel Gibson. Give me back my son. I hated Flubber, Footloose, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Peace Dragon, Karate Kid, and Parent Trap.
Okay.
Wow.
The only other one that nobody's mentioned yet, as far as honorable mentions that I like, is Little Shop of Horrors,
That was all
That's
right.
a good one. That's a good one. I
and
thought about
and then some other bad ones. The Haunting with Liam Neeson, that was horrible. The Island of Dr. Moreau with
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
You would think that technology would have come further. Like, I remember looking forward to that, and like the mouths still didn't move.
Yeah.
On the creatures, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds with Dakota
that's
Fanning.
on my worst
That was
list.
just one
I-
constant Dakota Fanning scream to the whole thing.
I turned it off. I didn't see it in the theaters. I was watching it at home, and I turned it off. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, it was bad.
Rich?
Hey, wait, real quick before you go, Rich. I just looked up the toy to see, and they're actually going to, Happy Madison is going to remake it
Uh-oh.
now.
Here we
So
go.
talk about it being offensive.
Probably for Netflix, though.
Then.
Oh,
it's coming.
alright.
It's going to be
Yeah, I
offensive.
noticed that about when I did research too. A lot of them are going to be remade.
Yeah.
So I have one honorable mention that was 3:10 to Uma, and my worst are
The original one was good.
the worst. I put Flubber, Shaggy Dog, Godzilla, Fantastic Four, Cool as Ice, Longest
Now, you're talking
Yard.
Fantastic Four. You're talking about that Michael B. Jordan one, right?
I'm for any Fantastic
Oh.
Four really.
None of them are as good as the
Sabrina.
Roger Corman version.
There you
I
go.
like
They're all considered.
And of course, The Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is terrible. Terrible movie.
I actually
Hated it.
accidentally skipped over my actual worst list there and went to my worst honorable mentions. So
Quick.
So my
Do it
worst
quick.
ones are Donnie Wahlberg, Planet of the Apes, Godzilla along with Rich, 1999 or 1998, Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage, the Rob Zombie Halloween 2007, and the Evil Dead remake from 2013.
Oh, wow. You guys touched on some of my worst. Hated Godzilla, both of them, the Matthew Broderick 1998 version and then the 2014 remake. We talk about War of the Worlds, and I hated the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot.
Yeah, that's
I was going to give that an honorable mention.
It's no, I do not hate women. I just hate this movie. I thought it was a wasted cast, and I almost walked out of it, but I just couldn't look away, and I regret that I did not walk out of it. It was just terrible. All right, so that was fun. That was interesting. So thanks, guys. And we will see you next time on
Ryan,
Movies
you almost
for
threw a
Dumb
perfect
Guys.
game today. What
So
happened?
Say hello to my little friend.